everybody, it's Emily Kaufman, the Travel Mom, here with another travel talk. Today, I'm excited to be joined by a guest. She's an author, an advocate, an actress, a singer, a wife, and a mom. I'm delighted to be talking with Holly Robinson Peete today. Hey, Holly.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Where are you?
I'm in Tarzana, California. Just hunkered down, 6 deep with me, my 4 kids, my husband, and actually 8 deep if you include the dogs. And yeah, just chilling in Cali.
Yep, we're fortunate to be chilling here in Cali, of all the places that we could be chilling. And yeah, the dogs are definitely a part of the family. My fur babies are sitting behind me and may pop up while we're talking. So Holly, you and I had the pleasure of getting to know each other at beaches in Turks and Caicos, and also on the show Hollywood Today Live. So you've been a big traveler, and travel's been a big part of your life. Now, when you were growing up, did you travel much?
When I was growing up, I did not travel a whole lot until I became a teenager and my mom sent me to Europe for I went to the American school in Switzerland for like a summer school when I was about 15 or 16. I spent just maybe 3-4 weeks in Switzerland, and I was like, wow, like I knew that I wanted to travel after that. And then after that, yeah, I spent a lot of time traveling, did a junior year abroad from Sarah Lawrence College when I went to school. And that year in Paris was a game changer for me. Every weekend I would Eurail pass it to some other neighboring European country. And I ended up going to Africa and a couple other places. And it was just a great time in the 80s where I just love to travel. So I knew that, when I would become a mom and a wife, that I wanted to travel with my family a lot too.
So you do travel with your family a lot. Do you have any great memorable places that you visited with your family?
Many places. We've had some great memories around the world, but I'd have to say 2 places, complete opposites come to mind. First, South Africa. Taking my kids to South Africa. They were very, very young, and it was just an awesome trip. And then the other one is Montana in the wintertime. We were there last year, and it was just so snowy and beautiful. And we were in this cabin that we rented, and it was one of the best trips we've ever taken as a family.
Yeah, I love those family moments. I swear you blink and your kids are out of your house. And I treasure all of those times that we traveled together. I know that your son has autism. And has that made traveling difficult for you or challenging for you at any point?
The answer to that is yes. Traveling for us when RJ was a little boy was very difficult. We had to, fly a lot. Flying is difficult, can be difficult for children on the autism spectrum. And RJ really struggled on the planes. And then when we'd go to certain resorts, I remember we were in Maui, and he melted down a lot. There was a lot of sensory overload, and we had to leave restaurants early. Sometimes we didn't leave the hotel room, depending on how he was doing. So it was very challenging early on with RJ traveling. The irony is that he's an amazing traveler now. He loves to get on planes. He doesn't kick the back of your seat anymore. He has really evolved into this world traveler, and he's obsessed with it. Like, he knows exactly what plane we're getting on, what the pitch of the seat is. He is, he's got this beautiful brain that he can tell you so many things that you never thought you would know about traveling. So he went from being a young man who really struggled to be out in the world and in airports and on airplanes and in hotels, to like this. He's like an almanac. He is like a travel agent. I mean, I'll call him and say, "Hey, RJ, like, what plane should we get on?" "Oh, Mom, don't get on that one. It's not lie flat, or the seat doesn't go back, or don't sit there." He's like seat guru. So it's really beautiful that he's made that transition. But yes, it was really hard early on traveling with him, and we still have a lot of family stories that we share about those trips.
Something that I really love is JSX. People used to know them as Jet Suite X. They're a small airline that does from the different private terminals. It's not a private airline, but they operate hop on, hop off. They will let kids come in and practice boarding the plane so that when the time comes for them to travel, it's not as intimidating. And I really love that. There are also some other destinations, resorts, and hotels that really cater to families with kids on the spectrum. Have you experienced any that you thought did it really well?
Yes, several. I want to just touch on something you said, though. For our Holly Rod Foundation for Autism, we partner with American Airlines, and we do a whole It's Cool to Fly American program where we take children with autism and their families all the way through the airport, soup to nuts, from check-in to getting on the plane to taxiing around. So we're also doing programs like that. They're so helpful. And RJ didn't have anything like that come as a little boy. So love that the Jet Suite X is doing that. And our program with Holly Rod and American has been a game changer for families. Couple of places come to mind when I think of autism-friendly vacations. One is beaches, Turks and Caicos. I'm telling you, I first of all, I just love Turks. It's just one of the best places ever. The water is just magical, and um, but beaches is so autism friendly, and everyone, it seems, there is trained in some kind of autism preparedness or understanding, and they're just so empathetic and helpful. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but we didn't start going to beaches, Turks and Caicos until he became, a little bit older. But as a young man, when we were struggling at some of those resorts, boy, I would have loved that for him. They have a daycare center for where you can, your child with autism can be, and everyone's trained there. They understand our kids. It's just great. And then, there's so much fun stuff for mom and dad to do too. And we really enjoyed our time there. Um, some of the other places that we like to travel to, we also look for autism friendly aquariums. That's another area that I think are very conducive to children and young adults on the spectrum. I know when RJ was younger and we would struggle when he would break down or have like emotional issues, we would go to an aquarium and it would automatically calm him down. There's something about the water and the fish and the lighting, the ambiance that is so soothing to everyone, and certainly children with autism. So those are two things: aquariums in any city, any place, and beaches, Turks and Caicos has been amazing for us.
Those are two terrific suggestions. I'm excited because as awareness grows, programs evolve in the travel space. For example, Great Wolf Lodge has been teaming up with Autism Speaks, and they're creating a really comprehensive program that will be available soon with elements like weighted blankets at check-in if you want those, or door alarms if you have a child that wanders. So I'm really excited to see that people are stepping up in the travel and hospitality space.
I just cannot believe that Great Wolf Lodge would have weighted blankets. When RJ was a little boy and when he got diagnosed in 2000, I had to order weighted blankets from the most crazy websites where you could not just walk into CVS and buy one like you can today. And so I'm just loving that there's so many more resources, and I think that's a terrific partnership. Great Wolf Lodge is a lot of fun. The water is a big deal there, and I think that's just terrific.
Well, Holly, you and I share the same thing, belief about travel. And I think there's a transformative power to it. And I love sharing it with my adult children now. When the time is right, where's the first place that you and your family would like to go visit?
Well, we had this really great trip planned for my daughter's college graduation. We were going to go to Southeast Asia. My husband and I have been there together. My daughter has been there. She's probably one of the most well-traveled people I know. She's been to Vietnam and Cambodia. But one of my favorite destinations in the world is Bali, Indonesia. And we had planned this really cool graduation trip for Ryan, which is going to have to be postponed. But I'd probably say Southeast Asia. When we're on the other side of all of this and things are maybe back to a new normal and we start traveling again, I would say that's high on the list, Southeast Asia, and we would make all the stops in a perfect world. Cambodia for sure. Vietnam is a place that I really love, and certainly Bali and Thailand. Bali, I don't know what it is about Bali. I discovered it on a eat, pray, love trip before I met my husband. I went by myself and I met the locals there and I just had the best time ever and it spoke to me. And then actually it was a litmus test for my husband when I met him. I asked him, would you ever consider traveling all the way to Southeast Asia for like a little trip to Indonesia? And he was like, sure. So we went together and we bonded as girlfriend and boyfriend back then, and it was pretty cool. So hopefully Southeast Asia will be in our future soon.
I'm a big fan of Asia as well. Thailand was one of my very favorite places I visited. Holly, I really believe that when we lift each other, the whole world elevates. And I want to thank you so much for sharing some of your insight on traveling with RJ and traveling with your family. And I look forward to getting out and back to travel when the time is right.
I look forward to it too. My daughter just screamed at me, Antarctica, because that's where she wants to take me. She's been. So I'll leave you with that. Antarctica one of these days.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. Stay healthy, stay safe.
You too.